Hello and welcome. Day 2 of Make a Minecraft-like game for Game Like Jam 10 is about to happen. We're going to be doing some code. And we've got a discrete objective today. We are just going to be working on finishing this. Getting block breaking fully functional. Fully functional means it needs to be snappy. It needs to be flexible, that we can plug our future mechanics into it. I want to get so that when you break a block, some particles happen, puff around. That would be nice. And it just needs to feel right. And we'll tinker around with that. And then stretch goal, be able to place blocks. Right click to place box. We don't have an inventory yet. We're not going to be getting that done today. So we can just have a placeholder like when you right click, put down dirt. We just have magic dirt hands at the end of the day. That's fine. I did some art, some really cheesy 16 by 16 pixel art. I applied it to the textures for grass, for dirt, and for bedrock. And the way that I did it is I just made a 3x2 sprite sheet and I trial and errored it until it worked. And that took like 30 minutes to an hour. There's apparently an easier way to do it, but that way requires not making these models in Godot, but making them in Blender. Because if you make the square shape in Blender, you can also tell Blender to export a texture file with the UV mappings plugged into it. And that will tell you straight up which face goes to which part of the cube. A lot better than trial and error. And the whole point of this exercise is to learn Blender. So I kind of wish I had done that. I don't know how productive it is to just make a cube in Blender, but I at some point would like to try making a cube, exporting it, importing it into Godot, also import the UV textures, and see what that's like. Maybe that's a waste of time, but that's okay. Let's see what it looks like right now. This is what it looks like right now. I need to rebind the keys because right now they're bound on the arrow keys. So this is all grass, and if you click and wait 1 second, the block disappears. I did spend some time fiddling with the collisions. So we are slimmer than we look, and we fit through holes. There appears to be a bug where, okay, if we look at this wall, we can't see the outline, but if we look at any other wall, we can see the targeting outline. That's strange. Why would that be? It's like this is offset slightly. Why would that be? Before we proceed, let's figure that one out. So here's our selector, and we've made the size slightly larger. What if we make it like much larger? 5% larger. It's actually noticeable how much larger it is. But that fixes the bug. All right, what if we make it too larger? Maybe there's just a rounding error with its size, and that's why it's not showing up on every face. Okay, so we click here. Yeah. Nope. 2 is not big enough. Weird. This is probably something that I could just edit on the fly, huh? I don't need to close and open. Yeah, no, it's just not working. All right. 4, refresh. Really? So actually 5 was the correct? Or am I did I just not am I not saving? So it never actually took it into account. Let me it's possible it just wasn't saving. That would be a huge mistake if so. Whoops. No, it actually is 1.05 is the minimum size. Weird. Shoot. 5, 5, and 5. Okay. I guess that's something we just have to accept. I don't know why that's happening. I don't think it's disqualifying. The outline is a little bigger than I'd like, but it still gets the message across, so we can just move on. One thing I would like to do is implement this step 3 properly. Last time, I hallucinated how Minecraft works. I was under the impression that if you click on a block and you hold down the mouse for like half a second, and then you look away, the progress would persist. It would fade away, but it would persist. I think that's how it works in Terraria. That's not how it works in Minecraft. How it works in Minecraft is, I can actually just open up Minecraft right now and show you. The moment you look away, all progress is wiped, easy. And I that's 1,000% easier to implement than the system I was talking about. So we're gonna just do that. So, oh, this doesn't even have survive. That's not even a thing in this. Never mind. Hallucination. What we could do is when we are looking at this, so we'll go to our input handler, and we'll say, are you observing a block? And are you holding down the left mouse button? If so, count up a timer. Right? Does that work? Because if I hold down the left click, that's not constantly generating an input event, is it? I doubt it. We'll need a timer, or we could have a process function in the input handler that checks, or wait a minute. Does the selector? No, the selector doesn't have a script. If the selector had a script, we could just, I don't know. But let's just go back. So the way that I would like it to work, we can actually just wipe out this whole thing. Right? We will create a process function, physics process. And then we need to track our breaking progress. I guess this can be an int. And then every tick that we're left clicking. No, this should be a float, huh? Because we're going to have to do division. So this might as well just be a float. So we take this code. Okay, we take this code, we copy it, we set this up so that anytime you change the observed block, you immediately reset your breaking progress. We should probably set a setter for the breaking progress because we need to get access to the selector, and then we've got art that we're going to apply to it. We got this break block sprite that we're going to apply to every face. And I think that's straightforward because we don't have to we can just attach a sprite 2D to a mesh, and there's got to be a way to tell the mesh repeat this sprite on every face. There's got to be a way to do that. We'll look into that in just a moment. If event.isAction pressed, left click and mouse look, then we take our breaking progress plus equals delta. If breaking progress is greater than the break value of the observed block, then we call the block's die function. Which is just that for now. No, there's a way to check to see if the left click is pushed. Input. We do need to make sure that we have a default block value. Oh, we do also need to make sure that we're not trying to break something that can not be broken. And observe block dot can break. Okay, now let's go to our block value. Equals 1.0, 1 second. And that should propagate. Okay, if we hold left click, after 1 second, a block gets broken. This is on auto fire too. We can't break bedrock. We're not even trying. All right. That is progress. Let's get the where is the selector? Do we have that in the input handler? We do. The selector, we already have it. Okay, so we just need to get a sprite and update the sprite. Selector sprite. Okay, and we should do that update in the breaking progress function. We should also have a func get sprite. Okay, and then if breaking sprite, return that. If selector sprite. else. Var return equals sprite2d.new. Sprite2d.new needs a texture. And we'll just load in, here it is. ret.hframes equals 8. Turn ret. I think that's right. I think it occurs to me that I should have a blank sprite here. I can probably get rid of one of these because these look very similar. And then this gets a little easier. I'll fix that. I'll fix that in the future. We need the breaking progress to update itself. Update the sprite. Set x. Breaking progress equals x. If x, okay, var x divided by, what was it? Observed block dot break value. If prog greater than 1 divided by 8, okay. We're just gonna increment this by 1. Oh, elif. Okay. So I have this sprite, but I need to attach it to the selector. And I should do that in this get sprite selector sprite function. I shouldn't just return this sprite. I should add it as a child to the selector, but I don't want to add it to a child. I actually want to figure out how to apply it. What if I just Google that? Apply to mesh, square mesh. Apply your text 2D texture to the albedo property. I don't think that's going to work, but it might. So we'll try it. Okay, so we just get the observer. Observe. Nope, that's not what it is. It's the selector. Selector dot get node mesh instance 3D dot mesh dot material dot albedo texture. That should work, right? It didn't work. Check the remote. Where is our selector? There you are. What's your albedo? is empty. Hmm. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Okay. Let's make sure we're calling this function first. Yeah, we're calling this function. Oh, we're calling it a lot. Okay. Um. Hmm. To every face of a 3D cube mesh. Try planar mapping. Use a billboard flag to make a 2D sprite always face the camera. No, but this triplanar mapping sounds promising. What if we turn that on? Oh. Well, it's not working. But is it not working because we just aren't setting this sprite correctly? What if we just add child? Get node root game dot add child ret. That's not why. I am missing something important. Wait a minute. Check here. There is the sprite is here. So this is happening. I don't understand why we're not setting the albedo texture. Oh, I know. What if I print out what that is? Print selector. Dot get node dot mesh dot material. Object null. All right. No, it's a sprite 2D. Okay. Is it because I'm trying to put a texture here? I want to not put a texture. I want to put the sprite. Oh no. Well, let's try the texture. This should break in horrible, ugly ways. Yep, that's ugly. Can I get a shout out, please? I liked and subbed. I don't know how you subbed. uh, thanks for liking and subbing. Apply sprite 2D to every face of a 3D cube. No. Animated sprite 2D. This isn't an animated sprite 2D, but what if that logic applied to every face of a 3D cube? You use a sub viewport. Really? There's gotta be an easier way. Let's look at some documents. Yay. Nope, that's the wrong button. Let's look at some documents in the editor. Yay. Can I get this one? Yeah. All right. Where is the albedo texture? What if I want, okay, wait, what if I just want like an animated texture, mesh instance, 3D animated texture. Animated texture on mesh instance 3D. Choose the best method for frame by frame flip books. What is a flip book? Select your mesh instance 3D, and in the inspector, create a new standard material 3D or shader material. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. I don't want an actual animated 3D object. I just want sub viewport. That cannot be. That cannot be the best way. Using it with a shader? Oh no. Don't make me use a shader for this. Animated texture. Currently deprecated. Great. I believe in you. Thanks. Requires all frame textures to have the same size. What if, okay, this might be dumb, but what if I go over here and I, instead of passing in this whole sprite 2D, what if I just load the texture, I save it somewhere so that I'm not loading it literally 60 frames a second. And then I'm just selecting a frame. Can I splice up a frame? That's what the sprite 2D is for. So like if I pass in the sprite 2D, it will it does nothing. I'm doing that right now. It does nothing. So what is this? Let me just print. I need to know what that is. Compressed texture 2D. Okay. Hold on. Let's go look up the documents for compressed texture 2D. Can I search? There's no document search there. Okay. Can I get a subset of a texture 2D. That's what I need. Draw rect. Isn't that what an atlas texture is, actually? That's what an atlas texture is. Okay, I could use an atlas texture to do what I'm wanting to do. We'll just pick a different region every frame. We're basically just implementing the sprite 2D. Texture. That's fine. Whatever. I'm good. I've read the docs. Close docs. Let's go back. All right, we're not doing this. This is now an atlas texture. What are you trying to do now? I would like, I can't show you, but I'm trying to apply this texture to the block that I'm in the process of breaking so that it animates the progress. Work in progress. This needs to return an atlas texture now. You know, this should actually not be called get selector sprite. It should be called update selector sprite. And then we can actually take in the frame. We'll default to 0. Or we could default to -1. And then -1 is just don't return anything. No. Let's return 0 as a default. Update selector sprite 0. Update. Oh, that's almost correct. 1, 2, 3. So we have this function getting passed in. We do not need to return anything anymore. If there is no selector sprite equals atlas texture.new. Selector. Why is this not a... It's a texture, not a sprite. That's why. Oh, I love updating text like this. Dot frame. How do I access the atlas? Oh, it's just atlas. Okay, great. Close atlas equals. Well, this nonsense. All right. Now all we need to do is define which of the 8 16 by 16. Okay. Const size equals 16. There's a way to do this. I've done it before. I don't want to go in my past games and look up how I do this. How do I get the region? I set the region. It's just a rect. Rect 2. Okay. Region. Equals rect to do this after that. The height is always going to be 0. So it's the rect to is width first, then height. Yeah. So this is going to be frame times size. 0 frame plus 1 time size That'll give us the region. Now, how do I get the actual, now that I define the region, do I just apply it here? I'm new to this. I'm trying to learn. Would it, like making it an animation works on the frame, hitting block was hold, then play animation. While key was hold, return. If release, then cancel the anim. That's what I was hoping for. And the way that I would do that is by applying a sprite to the object and then just setting that as the texture. But you can't apply a sprite as a texture, it turns out. That is the thing I'm learning. So I'm hoping that this works, that we can take the Atlas texture, which is not a sprite, it's a texture, it's in the word. And if that works, great. We can just live with it and move on. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't look like it's working. It looks like I've applied the entire texture, not just the sub part of the texture. How do I get the region out of this Atlas? Where is it? So we've got this selector texture. Atlas texture cannot be used in animated texture. Animated texture is deprecated, so we can't use that. Will not tile properly in rows. Vector Rex or sprite 2D. To tile an Atlas texture, modify its region instead. Is it possible that I've goofed in some incredible way? It's not even applying it to the side of the block. Ugh. Well, this is cursed. It also looks like it's no, it is there. What might be happening is actually the sprite is getting stretched because this is a 3D object. Did I not turn on triplanar? Maybe UV1 triplanar. I don't know what the difference is between these. Well, I mean that had an effect. I don't know what I wouldn't quantify that as an improvement. It does look like that helped, but it also looks like the entire sprite is in there, not just the subset of sprite. Let me look at the remote viewer to see what we're gaming with. Here's the selector. Here's the mesh instance. Here's the mesh, the material. The texture is empty. That can't be. If we're just using one texture, can we make it tile object super far away and overlay it on top? Super far away. Is that possible? I don't know where we'd put it, like how we'd calculate where to put that. Like if we put it directly in front of the camera, I don't know math well enough to do that. Like reposition and play. Yeah, I don't know enough math to do that. If there's a way to do that, uh, I don't know how to do it. I guess that would kind of like no, I that would definitely be a trial and error one for me. Uh, we're passing in the whole atlas. I wish there was a way to see what I was setting here. Print frame. Okay, so it is updating the frame. Let me make sure this is not an insane number. Ah, yes. The joy of putting constants not at the top. Oh, wait a minute. I found a bug. If I don't hold left click, it should reset the progress. It's not updating the frame at all. But it is updating this region. Okay, hold on. Godot, how do you use an atlas texture? Create an atlas texture resource. Assign your full sprite sheet to the atlas property. Set the region coordinates to crop out the specific sprite you want. Oh. Oh, I'm doing it wrong. That's a thing. Yeah. I thought I was passing in the corner, the top left corner and the bottom right corner. That is not the case. I'm actually passing in the size. That didn't have any effect. Great. So, well, strike that. If I set this to 0, no effect. Okay. So there's something missing here. Ugh. There's the docs. I've already read these. Godot apply atlas texture to mesh instance 3D. Can I do this? Defined by UV coordinates. What if I make the Selector not transparent, just completely opaque. Why can't I find it? There it is. It was in the last one. Go over here, turn off transparency. Oh, why is it black? Emission on. Please be white. Thank you. Why? Why? Brilliant. Can we make it like red or something? I need to be able to see the texture. There's no texture. There's no texture. We're beyond texture now. Do I have to set it as the emissive texture? Yeah, it's wrong. That's definitely wrong. But it looks like that's only one segment of the map. Or not the map, but of the thing. Why? If I set it to 16 or 48, this should look different, and it looks the same actually. Could it be I have these reversed? This should be no, it's the same. What is it? What is this region? Assign the atlas to a standard material 3D's albedo, then map it using UV coordinates because 3D meshes map textures using UVs. But we're doing the what is it? Triplanar. What if I do that on both UV1 and UV2? And then we go back, we set this back on. Wow, why is this so hard? I just want to put a sprite onto a mesh. I know. Yeah. Because I didn't change that back. Yeah, that's the problem. But that's just wrong. This is just the wrong amount of. The Atlas texture is failing me. That's just a failure. I mean, what I could do, and I know this will work, what I could do is I can just break this up into 8 different pictures, image files, and then I can just swap between them. But the literal purpose of this function is so that I don't have to do that. What if I just do this anyway? No, because this wants to play. Oh, I could pause it though. Maybe this is fine. Can I set how many frames? Yeah, okay. We got to do that. Eight frames. What are you making? I am trying to add an I don't get to show it off right now. I'm trying to add an animation that plays whenever you break a block so that you can see the progress. No such thing. Is it just texture? Set frame texture. Each frame needs to be a separate texture 2D. Why? I can't do this? Really? Oh my god. No wonder this is being deprecated. Let's just skip this. Let's just skip it. Back to this being an Atlas texture. We'll get it working in the future. I wonder what if we... this is really dumb, but what if I just take the sprite and I parent it 6 times to the cube, 1 for each face, and then I reposition it. Oh. This is so frustrating. Skip it. What's next? We have to break the block. We're already doing that. And we have to initialize the blocks behind it. Okay, that's actually important. Yeah, because right now, there's actually a block underneath this block. It just doesn't exist because, well, you know, we never wrote the code to make that happen. So let's make that happen. How do I want to do this? Well, we've got some helpers. We've got a block helper. The block helper's job is to tell us what it turns numbers into blocks so that we can store blocks efficiently in an array. Got the cast helper. That's useless for our purposes. We've got the level builder. This does not contain the chunk, but this does. So, when we break a block, we don't actually, the block doesn't know where it is. It doesn't know itself. That's annoying. We can't just grab our block and say, who's above you, who's below you, who's all around you. Do a block update. Because we don't know where we are. The block does not know where it is. And we could tell it, couldn't we? It has a position, but it doesn't know, it can't translate that position into a chunk necessarily. But what if we had a chunk handler whose job was to turn global position into which chunk, which block? That feels messy, but necessary. So we'll do it. We'll need a new handler, chunk handler. The chunk handler's job, it needs to be aware of every chunk, and it needs to track where each chunk is, so that when I give it a position in the universe, it can tell me which chunk that position belongs to. And it needs to be able to tell me which block specifically I'm talking about in that chunk. Man, that's just a pain. Well, let's get started. Is there a better way to do this? We've got chunks, and the chunks contain blocks. We got this. Let me look at the world chunk. Here it is. Well, this is going to be messy. It's going to take trial and error. I can't think of a better way to do this. Let's do it. All right, chunk handler. Func register chunk. Chunk param world chunk. How do we tell our thing where each chunk is in the world? We can make a 2D array, and we can have the 2D array represent it. And the first chunk is at 0, 0. And the next chunk is at 1, 0. And then minus 1, 0. I guess we could use a dictionary in this case. Yeah, let's just use we can use a dictionary. Why didn't I use a dictionary before? For world chunk. I used a 3D array because it's faster, but that's not true. Because there's gaps in the world chunk. What was I thinking yesterday? What was I thinking yesterday to make this an array of ints? I feel like I was just wrong. I was just wrong. Whatever. Var chunctionary. World chunk. No, vector 2. How do I do dictionaries? I'm gonna hope that that's correct. Okay. We could take in 3D chunks. No, we're not doing that.
God, this is really throwing my brain. This is breaking my brain. I'm not mentally in a state to be doing this. World chunks have a size, and we can uh I'm just gonna crash. I'm just gonna fail. Let's just type words until something breaks, and then we'll go, what are we doing? We're insane. Get chunk from global positioning. Const width of chunk equals world chunk dot width times world chunk dot scale depth of chunk dot depth Okay. We should be able to mathematically figure out which chunk we're talking about based on the width of the chunk and the depth of the chunk. And we'll assume that 0, 0 is where 0, 0 is. Post param vector 2i our chord equals vector 2i post param dot x post param dot z. Okay. I should make this a global function. Then I should make sure that this chunk registers itself when it's created. Or when it's built. Chunk handler dot register chunk world chunk self vector 2i 0, 0. And then we can test out every time we break a block, what is the chunk that we're returning? And we only have one chunk, so if we're not returning that chunk, then something's wrong. Then we're in Pain Town. We're already in Pain Town. We're deeper in Pain Town than we thought. Go to block, func, exit tree, print, chunk, handler dot get chunk from global position, self dot global position. All right, we're getting a node. So this might be working. Let's try breaking the edge. Yeah. All right, hold on. I have too many print lines. I don't need this at the moment. I don't need this at the moment. And we're good. Okay. We're getting a node. Okay, so there's a chunk. It exists. Okay. We can do better. Right? Print boss param. Where are we hitting? 4.50. Okay. 7.5, 4.5, 7.5. I thought this was a vector 2. No, this is a vector 3. Never mind. Also, this world is a lot smaller than I thought it was. I thought this would be like hundreds of pixels. This is apparently 7.5, 4.50. All right. Maybe this will work out. We have the chunk, but that's not what I want. What I actually want is the... Well, I do want the chunk, but I also want the specific block that I'm breaking so that I can go, what's the adjacent block? So func get block from global position. I seem to be consistently losing connection at a specific point in my stream. I wonder if there's a bug in OBS causing that. I mean, I doubt it. I think it was something wrong with my network equipment, but is there like some quirk in the behavior of OBS that causes that? Oh, how I would love to debug that. Anyway, we need to get the chunk that we're working from. Pass in the pos param. And then we have the chunk. And that's important because now we need to get the block. And we need to translate it into chunk coordinates. So if we have the chunk coordinates, which we can just calculate this way. We should be able to calculate the exact block position. So let's var local position, local chunk, relative position equals. So we have our global position and we have our chunk coordinates. So we should be able to subtract chunk chord times width of chunk and chunk chord times depth of chunk from the pos param. Hold on, I'm thinking because my brain is slow right now. Chunk chord dot x times width of chunk 0 chunk chord dot z times depth of chunk. Print rel position. This should give us the coordinates in the chunk that we're in. Get block from global position. So if I break the corner, dang it. Nope. Why is it null? What is null? What am I printing? It's not this. Oh, I'm printing the return. Yeah, and there's no return. So fair. Okay, so if I break this block and then we go down, okay. Theoretically, this is giving us the block coordinate. I should multiply it by the scale to get the coordinate. Times world chunk dot scale. Why is that worse? Divide it. I need to divide it by scale. There we go. 9, 8. 0, 9, 15. Okay. Vector 3i. I mean, this looks like it's working. I should speed up the block breaking. Okay, that's a fun little thing that I have tested, and yeah, there we go. Now we can break blocks a little faster. That's better. All right, it looks like that's yeah. I'm just clearly I'm drained and repeating myself. We have the block. We have the chunk and the block. We have them both. We just need to broadcast a block update. And the chunk handler has all of the chunks. So we should be able to just say block update. Call block update at global pos param. So, we get the chunk. Our block chord equals that. And then we just go in the chunk and we look up, look down, look left, look right, look forward, and look backwards. And if there's a block there, we spawn it. And if there's not a block there, we forget about our life. We move on with our lives. And then we zero out the block at that chunk. So we only spawn the block once in our lives. Why is it so hard to do that in my brain? Like, this should be really, this should be the easy part. I've already got to check local neighbors for air function. Chunk.getBlock. So we have a getBlock function. Okay, so we can just call getBlock. Just thinking. I'm just stuck in here because we're just the hard part is solved. So I just need to I want to have a function that's like super easy. I just call that function and then magic happens. And I would like for it to happen cross chunk if possible. Cuz that's a problem that I've been putting off. But like, if I solve it now, future me will be very thankful that I solved it. And then we can just spam chunks in the world. We don't have to limit ourselves to one chunk. Array of chunks? Exactly. So we just need to give ourselves a function that will handle all of that magic for us. And we've already given ourselves some smaller functions. Func. Oh, I've already got the. I'm calling call block update at. So this should just magically figure out which chunks I need to access. And I have a global position, so I could just go global position +1, get the chunk at +1, get the chunk at -1, get the chunk at -1. Is that inefficient? Yeah, it is. Do I care? No, I don't care. Let's just do it. For I in -1, 1. For j in -1, 1. For k in one of these does not need to happen because we don't have vertical chunks. We don't believe in that. I should make this a break block block broken update. That way we have the global position and we can go from there. All right. So no, this isn't right. These need to be separate for loops. Yes, they need to be separate for loops, which kind of is silly because I got a for loop with only 2 elements in it. Are you trying to solve the voxel rendering issue? No, I'm not. I have not. This has nothing to do with voxels. I'm just trying to update a block. Make it update its neighbors. That's all. Okay, we get the chunk, but we need to plus vector 3 I 0 0. And we need to get the block chord at you know what? You know what I want? You know what I want? Func get block at global position param vector 3. So if I pass in a vector 3, I want to know what block I'm getting. Let's return an int. No. Let's make the block. Let's just return the damn block. No. Let's just return an int for now. We can make a function to actually spawn the block. Given a chunk, given a block chord. Man, I just copy and pasting this logic all over the place. It's totally fine. That's what this function is. I can just recycle this function. You can select some objects in the 3D tab and group them so you don't have to select hierarchy hell. Trying to find a way to make that happen in code. Like this. I don't know what that means. Are you talking about groups? Select 3D tab. Select some objects. There's only one object. None of my scenes have more than one object. Like I guess this one has a collision shape and a camera. Did I just? Oh, nice. 8th icon across the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. All right. Chunk dot rel dot get block. Oh my god. Sorry. I'm sorry for this function. No, this doesn't take in a vector 3. This takes an individual. Anyway, carry on. All right. Get block. There it is. Rel position dot x, rel position dot y, rel position dot z. Should this have just been a vector 3? Yes. The answer is yes. what if we return this and then back to this function? What if instead of not calling a function, what if we call a function get block at global position? And we just print it for our sanity. Plus vector 3 I00 expected the print has a thing. All right, we're not calling this function yet, but what if we did now? Get block from global position. Is that block broken update at? All right. 2 2 2. Okay, what if we go over here? That doesn't feel right. Oh, I should check something. If there is no chunk, return 0. We're done. If chunk return 0, we're done. All right. Cool. I think we're on the right track. Okay, so if I break this block, 2 0 0 2 0, that's wrong. That's too many 2s. There should have only been 3 2s, not 4. That implies that there's a I don't know where that's saying. Did I do something wrong? Oops. Two. Okay, we're completely surrounded in grass. That's unlikely. Oh, we got a 1. I think I'm doing something wrong, but what if the problem is that when we build the chunk, we're just not clearing the block? And if that's the case, we're not doing that here. We're doing that in the level builder. Okay, the level builder needs to track every block that it places, and then it needs to go back in time and wipe those out after the for loops. So we need to define a dictionary, var placed blocks is a dictionary that consists of vector 3 I block. Actually, it doesn't matter. This could just be an array. Actually, I don't actually care. Array.add. Oops. IJK. And then when we're done, for placed block in placed blocks. Block map. No, that's wrong. Where's our chunk? Chunk. Should actually probably be inside of here, because we're going to do this on a per chunk level. Chunk dot set block pb.x, pb.y, pb.z, 0. Get that block out of here. It does not exist anymore. Okay, why did that ruin the universe? Why are we down here now? Because this is empty. Wait a minute. Am I doing this in the right place? Where are we? When are we checking it for error? Oh, it's right here. Yeah, okay. No, this is the right place. The problem is confusing because why are we not spawning at the top? Why are we spawning down at the bottom? Okay, can we see what we're up against? Print PB. This should not contain every variable. And it looks like it does contain every variable. Why? Oh, no, maybe it doesn't. There should be a hollow core of things that were not, I don't know. Let's just look at our player spawning logic. We spawn the player, we pass in the chunk that we want to spawn them in. We get the lowest air point. Oh, that's going to be bedrock because we are wiping. Oh. We can't do that anymore. This function is useless to us now. We've completely obliterated it. So where can we spawn the player? Let's just spawn them at 0, 0 right now, for now. One, nope, 0, 0.0, 0, 0.0, 0, 0.0. Okay, not like that. Let's do -8. Okay, that's clearly, I know which way up is. There we go. Okay. Now if we break this block, nothing. Great. We learned nothing. Oh. No, this is fine. This is fine. I was just trying to fix this 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's correct. Yes. 2. Why is there a 2? That's not correct. How is there a 2? What do you mean you learned a lot? I learned a lot. I don't remember saying that. There should only be 1 2 in there. Unless there's grass. No, there should be 1 2. I don't. Oh no, this is broken. There should only be 1 2. This is exactly what I was afraid of. This works. This is correct. The corners are correct. Nope. That's not correct. That's definitely not correct. The coordinates are not correct. They're broken. Put a label 3D in each one for debugging. There's a label 3D in each one. I have already done that. When I spawn the block, I also spawn it with a label. But maybe instead of this, we can just give it the position, but I don't have the position at this time. All right, in the level builder, we've got a block map. We're creating a block. Label equals label 3D dot new label dot value text equals block dot does that work? Okay. Dot add child. Okay. Great. What do you mean cannot add child on a null value? Oh, yeah. Okay. I should do that inside of this null check that I have already given myself. Great. Thanks, past me. Okay, so now we have labels inside each of these. So we can see, is there a way to make the label draw on top of everything? Like change the Z index? Is that a thing? Select label 3D, inspect. Oh, well, great. I would love to select my label 3D node. Disable depth test. Code alternative, thank you. Let's hope this is real code and not a hallucination. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is better. This is way better. Okay. I would like for, instead of when I break a block, it tells me what the blocks adjacent are. I would like it to tell me what the position of those blocks is. Here we go. I mean, that feels right. This doesn't exist, so that's 0. This doesn't exist, so that's 0. Okay, great. And then if we go over here in this corner, 1.0, 4.5, 7.5 is a 2. You know what I should do? No, I don't. Never mind. 0, 0, 4.5, 0, 0. Oh, wait a minute. I know what the problem is. I see the problem now. The problem is I am incrementing and decrementing by 1 because I'm thinking that these are integers, but they're not. These are vector 3s. They're floats. So actually, I need this to be that. Thus, maybe that will fix it. All zeros, good. All zeros, good. Nope. Some 2s. Some 2s sneaking in there. All right. All 2s, that's not good. Okay, hold on. I should be able to look at 1.0, 4.5, 0.5, 4.5, 0.5. Oh, that's correct. Oh, no, it isn't. 1.0, 4.5, 1.5. This says it's grass. That is not grass. That should be air. The chunk should have been overwritten. The chunk should have been overridden. Why isn't it being overwritten? It's because I'm appending it as a vector 3i. That's the problem. That's correct. That appears to be correct. That appears to be correct. We're in correct town now. All right. It looks like oh, no, wait, hold on. 1 minute. Oh my God. Having to translate between integers and vectors is killing me. It's killing me. It is actually murdering me. Godot is a super fast array. Better have that. An array that isn't fast can just not bother. Okay, how about this? 090. What is that? What am I printing? Get block takes in integers, but I'm passing it not integers. Or am I? Wait. No, yeah, no, I'm passing it not integers, so I need to multiply this by scale. Oh, brilliant. And I realize I'm only updating the print, not the actual function. Ah, shoot. Okay. Who hired this guy? Me. You can't fire me. I quit. All zeros. Well, that's not good. There should be at least one green in there, one grass in there, and there aren't any. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, was it working? And I was just too pessimistic to notice. Okay, so first of all, these should all be zeros. They're all zeros. Good. Okay. These should also all be zeros. Good. Okay. 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 We're okay. We're okay. There should be 1, 2. This should be a 2. Nope, all zeros. Why is that 0.25? Oh. Oh, I did it again. Divide. Math. All right. Hey, a 2. 1, 2 is at that. That's the correct number of 2s. That's the correct number of 2s. This is it. We did it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is promising. This is promising. We've ironed out all of the bad math through trial and error. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, wait. All we need to do now is we have this location. We get the block there. And then we need to make it. And then we need to add it to the world. In order to do that, we need to know where the world is, which is a great sentence to say. I love game development. It lets me say amazing things like that. Ship it. Let's ship it. Yes. Do I already have a make block function? So first of all, we have one world chunk. Just one. Why? Why do we have that? Put the chunk handler in charge of that instead. But that does mean where is the level? So okay, we've got the block, we've got the level builder here. This exists. This is not just a static function. Block map is a new node 3D. Okay, great. We have a node 3D. We didn't name it. We didn't give it to anyone. We just attached it to the main, and then we didn't even attach it to the main. We do that in main. Okay. In main, we get our block map. Can we keep it? var block map. What is this? It's just a node 3D. Okay. That's fine. Great job. Now we have the block map. Now we can add blocks to it. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Come on. Almost home stretch. Keep in there. Var block map equals get node root game block. No, it's a variable now, so we only need to get the game, and then we get block map. Okay. Cool. And then we go to our block helper and we say, I need a block. Uh, um, then we set its position equal to global plus param plus this. Let's add it as a child first. Is that it? That might just be it. We just need to copy this logic. Zero J, 0J, 0K, 0K. We're not done, but I'm just gonna see what we got so far. It didn't work. All right, well, that's a shame. That should have made a block. At no point are we trying. Great. Oh, we're trying. Okay, so we are hitting that line of code. And this should be instantiating grass. Okay. Okay, there is a grass. It does exist. We're adding it to the block map, right? This exists. Is it just a case of like there's an extra slash in there and then nothing works because no, that's not it. Why is my grass not happening? I'm adding it. Is there something funky going on with the reference? What if I do this? Just to rule out the possibility there's something funky with the references going on. Nope, that's not the problem. All right. Grass objects are being created. Their position must be wrong. Their global position just must be wrong. That's gotta be what it is.
if we try this. Now we're trying. Where could that be spawning? Oops. Okay, so this needs to be in the tree before we try and set that, which it is. We've added it to the block map. So it should just magically work. I've already forgotten what the next step was because I'm confused. All right, let's try watching what happens. So we've got this everything node. It contains everything. All right, let's try adding things to this node. Is it just not getting added as a child? Nothing's getting childed? Print block.get parent. Oops. Confirm that you have a parent. Object null. Okay, that's the problem. That's the problem. This block map is null. How is it null? Let me see that. It doesn't look null to me. That's clearly not null. Is it not called block map? Did I call it something else? No, it's called block map. All right, let me see. Yeah, we're trying, but we just can't parent it. There's no parenting happening. What if we just add it to the game? Screw the block map. Hey, it's happening. Why is it happening like this? That's very confusing. Okay, but seriously though, why can we not add this to block map? Editor issue. The node already has a parent. Well, that's not true. Forgetting to set the owner. Nope. I don't think it's actually a problem to just parent it directly to the game.
Well, this is the wrong thing, though. No, it isn't. It does defeat the purpose of the... Hey, there we go. Uh-oh. Hmm. Well, we're on the right track. Why is that happening? Really? Deleting the second layer doesn't spawn? Oh, man. Oh, man. I thought we would be done by now. I'm out of time. I'm out of time. And this is atrocious. Raycast all? There are no raycasts involved. Placement logic. It must be. Why does busting that not spawn an additional forest? It must have something to do with the fact that we just can't. Is it because... Hold on. Is it because the name of the object is like... We're trying to add a thing that already exists. That's already named that in here. And Godot will just be like, you can't do that. Doesn't add child take parameters? Okay, Godot. This function takes parameters, I'm pretty sure. What are the parameters of add child? Force readable name. Oh no, okay. If node already has a parent, this method will fail. Use remove child. Well, what if instead of add child, we just do reparent? Surely this will work. Let me go in here. Nope. Oh, where'd the world go? Oh, I did it backwards. That's the problem. Smart. Block.reparent. Game.blockmap. Just for some reason, we cannot give this block a parent. We just can't do it. Can't be done. Alright. Let's figure out this bug and then we can figure out the other bug. Oh, it occurs to me that this has probably been complaining for some reason. Parent node is busy setting up children. Add child failed. Consider using add child call deferred instead. Alright. Sometimes expletives and comments help. True facts. That is 100% true. Okay, that worked. That was the problem. We just didn't. Now this is the bug that I was expecting to see, because we don't actually clear out the thing. Why does this need called deferred? I'm not going to think about it too much. This is not. I know call deferred is a function that can solve problems. Uh-oh. That's not where that block should be. This being off like that is very wrong. Anyway, let's solve the problem that I thought we were going to solve. When we're getting the block object, no, when we're getting the block at the global position, we should also pass in a variable to wipe it. Okay, and then we'll, if we set the wipe, then we should update that block. If wipe chunk dot set block rel position dot x. Oh. We need to get that. We need to get that value first. Create quick alpha channel texture to show the selection focus. Didn't I already do that? Hi, hello, welcome. I'm pretty sure the selector is already transparent. Yeah, it's a 93 out of 255. There we go. That should solve our problem. Oh, no, not yet, because we need to set wipe to true. Okay, now when we break this, that shouldn't happen. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right, well. Why is it offset? It wasn't offset before, but now it's offset. Oh, wait a minute. We are breaking the blocks. Oh, am I doing something where I'm not multiplying the absolute position? Global position parameter. Put a label 3D in the selection scene cube. What would that accomplish? This is probably just the position is off. Oh yeah. I bet if I go to the other side, there are no blocks. Nope, I was wrong. Stupid half coordinates. It's killing me. Oh my god. All right. Did that just pop in? The idea is there. Do I need to divide this by scale? This doesn't make any sense. This should be wrong, but I'm doing it because life doesn't make sense. It's getting more cursed by the second. Times Can I print the global position? Not Notch is doing voxels. Is doing not voxels. Okay. 000. What? That is not at all the correct position. None of these are the correct position. Is global position the wrong thing? Wait, was that actually it? That was actually the problem? I don't understand. And this should break as soon as we try and fill a different chunk. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we were applying the global position. I don't know. I have no clue, but this is working as I expected it to work. How you doing, man? I'm doing good. I'm tired and behind, but this is now working. I need to leave a to-do for myself. I need to split the animation for this into 8 sprites and then swap the sprites. Textures. Swap the textures so that we can have proper breaking of blocks. Is this game jam only for Godot? No, you can make the game in whatever engine you want to make it in. It just needs to be web accessible. That is the only requirement. So I'm not seeing any aberrant behavior. It looks like, at least in a world where we just have one chunk, everything's good. What if we have more than one chunk? I don't have time, but this is something that I need to do next time. So I would join, but I suck at making a game. That's no excuse. When I did my first game jam, I didn't know Godot at all. And I won that jam. Have faith in yourself, man. But actually the reason that I've enjoyed these jams and the reason that I've been doing them and not just setting them aside is because they're a month long. Which that's enough time to learn. That's enough time to do a basic game. Not like a best version of your game you could possibly make. But plenty of time to learn and make something that you can be proud of. I did that. I recommend it. Just cheat and hire a professional team. You could do that. I don't know if that is rewarding to do. The whole reason that I've been doing these jams is to learn. In fact, the whole reason that I'm doing this game is to learn Blender, learn basic rigging, and figure out how to turn 2D art into a 3D object, and maybe implement a minimap. If I do those 4 things, if I learn how to do those 4 things, this game jam is a success in my book. And we have 24 days to do that. I think we can do that. So take it as an opportunity to challenge yourself and learn and do something. I thumbs up with learning Godot because there are lots and lots of resources to help new people make I don't know about Minecraft in particular, but like The one that I did, the first game jam that I did was for Rogue. And there were several resources on YouTube and whatnot for how to make a roguelike in Godot. I think I should use UE5. You could use UE5. That's a really powerful engine. Perfectly fine. There's the best engine is the one that you make the game in. So game is better than no game. Don't be picky. Oh, I forgot what I was doing. I need to write some to-dos for myself. So, okay. We technically did all of these, except the begin breaking block, which to do split out block breaking sprite, because applying an atlas texture to a 3D mesh apparently doesn't work. To do add more than one chunk. Add additional chunks. We should probably just have a function like create chunk. We give it a coordinate. It'll create the chunk. It'll populate it. It'll jam it into the world for us. And then we can call that function whenever we get close to the edge of the world. And then we can just generate an infinite world that way. Or we could generate it up to a certain bound. And then we can say, okay, chunks past this bound generate impassable walls. They're just walls of bedrock. You cannot pass them. We could do that. That'll be easy too. So add additional chunk function. Make characters fast with the skin modifier in Blender. Joey Carlino. I try to learn Godot, but there's not much 3D tutorials for Godot. Huh. That surprises me. I thought there were. I would have expected there to be at least one for Minecraft. Make a Minecraft like in Godot. If that's not the case, wow. I don't know. I still want to do be able to place blocks. And then we gotta jazz up the when you break a block, it shouldn't just pop out of existence. It should actually explode into particles. I don't know how to do that. Figure out how to do that. Like maybe make like 64 tiny versions of that block and then just put them in random positions and then just push and then let physics take over from there. What's that notepad app you're using? This is Obsidian. Obsidian.md. It's highly recommended for note taking. Before, I used to use Notepad, and that's fine too, but Obsidian better. I think my thought was that we'd be able to get through all of these by the end of the day, and we didn't. But I'm hoping that we can get through all of these by tomorrow. And if so, that gives us plenty of time to implement an inventory. Let me just write down rest of week inventory. What else? Trees. Stone and like no, if we have an inventory, we should also get basic crafting and then stone. if we can get those 4 things implemented in the rest of the week, and that's some of these are more complicated than others. Like inventory, kind of complicated. Trees, super simple. Stone, really simple. Basic crafting, either medium pain to extreme pain. But if we can get those 4 things done before the end of the week, we'll be in good shape for jamming out a bunch of content. And we'll want to implement like basic combat as well. Maybe that's optional. I might want to put light, dynamic light. How did you learn Godot? I learned Godot by reading the tutorial, joining a game jam, and then streaming it to hold myself accountable. And then whenever I'd run into a problem, I would go and look for a YouTube video on like, how do I do this? Because there's a lot of tools in Godot that are designed for a particular type of game. And if you're not making that game, you need to be able to, you could still use those tools, but you have to translate them for your purpose. And when you're new, that's kind of hard. So, finding someone who has done that and watching a video, seeing how they do it, and then going from there, that works. And then if you stream it, sometimes helpful people come in a chat and you can ask them questions, and they'll just tell you. Be like, oh yeah, you just want to use a struct or an array or use a mesh. Every time I use it, character rig. We'll do character rigging later in the month. That's we're absolutely going to do that because that's one of our goals. But I think that's a later step of the development thing. Every time I use an engine in like a day, I switch again. I don't know which engine to choose. Yeah, what helped me was streaming the actual development. That helped me feel accountable because I have tried to make games prior to Godot and prior to streaming, and the longest I've put into development is 6 weeks, and then I stop because I run out of steam. And that's one of the reasons I joined a jam, was to hold myself accountable. to be able to say, no, I should keep going because I've worked this far, and there's a finish line. Is your PC good? Yeah. Yep. I don't think that would hold you back from game development though, unless if your PC is from this decade, you should be okay to make something simple. My PC is insane and I act like UE5 will lag. The engine's not the reason for a game lagging. Not in this decade. If the game is lagging, that's 100%. Well, yeah, if the game is lagging, that's 100%. The developer is doing something they shouldn't be doing. The amount of power that computers have is just blows out of the water. Like, engines can get away with doing so much, and it runs perfectly fine on the average mid-tier computer because the average mid-tier computer is 500 times faster than what we had 2 decades ago. UE5 optimization does suck. Yeah. Well, one of the advantages of doing a game jam is you don't have to worry about optimization because you're just trying to finish the game. If you worry about optimization, you'll never finish it. And that's okay. It's just a jam. It's not, you're not selling it for money. So it's allowed to be suboptimal as long as it works. Even with an RTX 4090, you get 60 FPS in UE5. I'd expect you to get like 300 FPS. Way more than 60. I don't know. Anyway. Plan. I'll do this offline, and the rest of these we'll do tomorrow. We'll do these tomorrow. Well, I'll do this one offline too. Let me just move that one up. And then I don't know. Let's implement an inventory if we have extra time. But I think an inventory is pretty key. All right, I'm out of time. UE5 is not lightweight. That's true. That's true. Not especially compared to Unity or Godot. Anyway, I got to run. I'm going to fall asleep. Thanks for watching, y'all. Hope you had a good time. Thanks for the help. Hope your game dev is going well. And hope you're playing lots of fun games. And stay safe. See you all next time.